Well, g'day Seb. Thanks for the call today, mate.
Thanks, matey Pete. Nice seeing you as well. Nice seeing you.
Yeah, you too, man. Hey, whereabouts are you, Seb?
I'm actually right now in Melbourne, Australia, where I flew to. Actually, have been living in Melbourne now for about 3 years.
Yep.
But I'm flying right now a lot around, so I'm seeing myself right now more on airplanes than actually in my own bed. So it's but I'm not in Melbourne.
Yeah. I'm up here in Sydney, man, and we actually met at the Jeff and Kane seminar that day. Remember that? We had lunch together and hung out and yeah, that
Yeah.
crowd. So that was an exciting time. Um, so, Seb, what are you working on at the moment? What's the thing that's taking up most of your time? You say you're flying around everywhere. What are you doing?
Yeah. Look, right now in my business, one one big part for me right now is just really, as you can relate as well, Pete. It's really to really develop myself, develop my brand, develop the things I stand for. And that part is certainly right now getting myself on more and more bigger stages. Throughout the past, I've conducted number of public speaking events, but really the bigger stage is the big vision of mine, where I see myself within the next probably 12 months on 2,000 plus stages, which I'm right now working towards. So this is right now where I'm rocking and rolling the world, to be honest. Just lots of
Yeah, cool, man. So, what is it that you're doing now? Like you're speaking. Just real briefly, what are you speaking on? And then we'll go back to how you actually got started in doing what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. Well, my passion really is the idea of really empowering people and teaching them of how to run their mind in the most extraordinary way possible to really propel business financially forwards. Now, this is I probably would say the overarching topic or umbrella topic that I'm talking about. And the reason for that, Pete, is that in my journey of an entrepreneur, and I have to smile right now a little bit, to be honest, because in my journey as an entrepreneur, I've seen for so many years just so much money going out of my business. So I was totally committed and just really want to make it happen. This urge within, actually, to really thrive and to just empower the world and to contribute, I guess, to people around me. And in that regard, I've spent so much money and so much time on all these things that I just nowadays love. I just absolutely love to empower people around me to not. It's not so much doing the mistake, because I've loved that journey to actually spending all the money and doing all the things I've done, but really nowadays teaching people of how as well to get a return of investment. And we speak about like just similar things like Facebook ads and going to networking events. It all costs money in that regard.
Yeah.
How do you actually create money from the things that you have spent? That's probably the key where I step into right now and say, okay, let's see how the mind actually is a deterrent of how things happen in your life, and let's really make it happen to right now create a return of investment in your business to just survive, to just have a business in regards to longevity, to serve people around the world.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you start your journey? So I detect a bit of an accent there. Where you from, man?
Well, I'm trying hard, man. I'm trying. Been now in Australia for about 7 years,
Yeah.
and well, I still have that strong German accent, my friend. So it's quite interesting. In the beginning, man, I've tried to get rid of the accent, to be honest, and I kind of tried to take on the Aussie accent. How you doing, mate? What's happening? And people turn around and say, hey, man, are you from Germany? Now it's like, it probably obviously doesn't work, so I'll leave it there, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm from Germany. I'm from Cologne, where I grew up with my family, actually a little bit, probably 30 minutes away from Cologne. It's probably a bigger city, probably the biggest city in the west of Germany. And I literally left Germany with an age of 23 and went to Australia. So this is my
Yeah.
little story. Yeah.
Okay. So in Germany, what were you doing there? Were you doing business over there as well before you came over here?
Yeah, I've started up my. I would say that I've started up my career or my journey of becoming an entrepreneur fairly young, even though I didn't know that. So the reason why I said it is because that's, I've always seen myself as a little bit of an outsider, probably, in the past, especially in high school, I remember many friends, or in the corner standing by myself, trying to fit into a group, and you can relate to that as well. You're trying to become friends with somebody, even though I knew and kind of felt in my heart that there was something just missing, and the missing part probably was me being me, rather than actually, this is a concept that I'm teaching nowadays called uniqueness.
Yeah.
Uniqueness, and it's really about being you, being unique in whatever you represent in your life, rather than fitting into a group. So, trying to fit into, especially in groups in schools, really wasn't great at all. I got bullied a lot at school, and all these things just suddenly impacted my life. Even though I have to say nowadays that this was the best thing what could happen or could have happened at all, because it has empowered me to really build up that that muscle of building relationships, of building long-lasting relationships, not just in business, but as well like between you, man. I mean, we are now their friends, and we are traveling around having lots of fun. And just a beautiful thing nowadays to just being able to understand, how do I serve society, how do I serve people, especially as an entrepreneur, because this is where it comes down to the craft of how can I impact as many people as possible in empowering ways to really not just propel these people's lives forward, but also my life, if this makes sense. And this is what I developed very early on, very young age.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what was your first venture into business? What were you doing? You mentioned something sort of just before we started the interview, working with athletes, something like that. What was that about?
Yeah. I actually met a really good friend of mine, Olli Elsenbach. He's right now working in Germany with a number of top professional cycling teams, which is pretty interesting. So I've been, I've come from a cycling background, road cycling, shaving legs and the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
It was really cool. So I was cycling probably, 15 to 17,000 kilometers a year. So it was my life. That's probably as well a reason maybe why I didn't have any friends, because my friend was standing beside my bed, which I looked at every morning and every night, which was my bicycle, right? Yeah. Which was pretty interesting. But my very first venture really was with Oliver Elsenbach, and we opened up a institute of sports. And our vision was to really getting, professional athletes and athletes that had the vision and had the mission to really getting their life up and running and becoming a professional athletes, to really supporting them in the things they do, from a analytical aspect, so from an aspect of measuring their heart rate, measuring their lactate and all these things, down to training plans, down to flying around, supporting them in their tours, in their cycling tours, in their cycling events, and so on. That was pretty cool. We ran that for about 4 years before I separated from that.
Yeah. Okay.
A bit of a dream here for the moment.
Yeah, no, you're right, man.
Yes.
And so you went from working with athletes to what did you do next?
From there,